Welcome to the Happy Hour with Jamie Ivey podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, and I am so thrilled that you are here with us this week. Every week, I invite a girlfriend to join me on the show, and we chat about the big things in life, the little things in life, and everything in between. All right, guys, before we get into the show, I want to thank one of the sponsors for the Happy Hour today, and that is Prep Dish. Prep Dish is a healthy subscription-based meal planning service. And if you're like me, planning meals takes a lot of work, and then trying to plan healthy meals takes a lot of work. And Prep Dish does that for you guys. They make some amazing meal plans for you. And actually, if you go to their blog this week, there's a green smoothie recipe for St. Patrick's Day. I highly recommend it. But here's what's going to happen when you're a member with Prep Dish. Every week, you're going to receive an email that contains a grocery list and instructions for prepping your meals ahead of time. So then you're going to spend 2 to 3 hours of meal prep whenever you want, Sunday afternoon, Monday morning, whatever works for you. And then you're going to have meals ready for the rest of the week. So like every day around 5 o'clock, if you're like me and you start thinking, oh my gosh, what's for dinner? Prep Dish takes that from you. Let me tell you 2 meals that were in the email that I just got this week. Number 1, potato and onion frittata with orange wedges. Hello, amazing. And then there's a mixed green salad with dried figs, walnuts, and goat cheese. Amazing. So Allison, who's the chef over there, she's offering you listeners of the Happy Hour a special rate of $4 for the first month. Guys, that's $1 for a weekly meal plan. You cannot beat that. Visit prepdish.com/happy hour to get started today. Again, that's prepdish.com/happy hour. Guys, today you're listening to episode number 80, and you're in for a treat because today's guest is my friend, Jamie B. Golden. Jamie is a fellow podcaster. You've probably heard me talk about her show before called The Popcast, that she is a co-host on there with Knox McCoy, which Knox McCoy helps me with my show a lot by producing and editing. So Jamie's a fellow podcaster, and she's a pop culture expert, which I am nowhere near an expert in pop culture, and you're going to find that out in our conversation today. We talked about OJ Simpson, The Bachelor, and what it means to be a naughty conservative. Jamie also talks about what it was like to quit her great job and proceed on faith alone. Guys, before we get to Jamie, I want to just ask you guys if you would do me a huge favor. I want to ask if you would rate and review the show on iTunes. Guys, listen to this. Last week, the Happy Hour was ranked number 1 overall in all faith-based podcasts. Guys, I've never hit that number before. Number 1 in all faith-based podcasts, and it was the top 40 overall. That's amazing, and that is in thanks to a large part to you guys for listening and spreading the word. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep spreading the word. Go to jamieivey.com/iTunes, and after you make sure that you're already subscribed, give it a rating and leave the show a review. I want to mention a recent review that I loved reading. It said this. From Nurse Nerd. She said, this podcast is one of the things I'm into. So here it is. She said, I love this so much and tell my friends and even strangers about this podcast. I've been exposed to such amazing yet regular women working in God's kingdom because of it. I listen when I walk or run and can be found crying and laughing all in the same workout. And that's from Nurse Nerd over on iTunes just from a couple days ago. Thank you so much for that review. Like, you guys have no idea what that means to the show, and it helps people find it, and it helps its ranking as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, here is my conversation with Jamie. Okay, Jamie, welcome to the Happy Hour.
Oh my gosh, I've been sitting here with a pink drink waiting to be invited to the Happy Hour.
What kind of pink drink?
You know, just the best kind of pink drink, right? It doesn't matter what time we're recording this.
Can I say what you texted me yesterday, or whenever I texted you to see if you want to be on the show?
Yes, please. You can.
You cracked me up. I said, do you want to be on the Happy Hour? And you're like, I've got whiskey in the closet and the Holy Spirit in my heart.
Listen, I had somebody recently say, I feel like you're a naughty conservative.
Ooh, I like that.
And I'm like, I think that's a perfect description.
I like that a lot.
Right? Naughty conservative. That's my tagline.
Naughty conservative, Jamie B. Golden.
Jamie B. Golden.
Do you like how I threw that in there?
That was pretty good. That's all new to me. I like that it's a sentence. Jamie B. Golden.
Jamie B. Golden. Like, yeah. It could be like kind of slang, like Jamie B. Golden. Like you're saying like a sentence. You're right.
I know. I like that. And maybe I'll live up to it occasionally.
I think that you will. I think that you will. Okay, so we met Jamie Golden. We met, I don't know how long ago. A year?
Almost a year ago.
Almost a year ago. And I've talked about you guys on my show way too many times. I really need to stop talking about y'all. I don't think it's fair.
No. Don't get crazy.
You are half of the Popcast.
I am half of the Popcast.
So the other half of the Popcast is Knox McCoy, which I say his name every week on the show because he edits and helps me produce, and he makes this Happy Hour work. But y'all have a show called The Popcast, which I listen to every week and love it.
which is so sweet. Thank you. We enjoy doing it. So that's nice to hear that more than just our moms listen.
A couple more people are listening to you guys. Don't
Yeah.
worry. And so, I always, you're also my friend. Let me also say this.
Yes.
And you can be truthful if this annoys you. You're my friend that Aaron and I sit down to watch TV and we're like, what do we watch? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I'll just ask Jamie what we should watch. Like one time I asked you what we should watch and you asked me some of my favorite past shows and then you sent me like a document
Yes.
of things that I should watch.
I know. I listen.
Which I
I
think
like
you should
the.
charge for that service. Like you can have a side job doing this, honestly.
You're very kind because there are people who have meaningful jobs. Like there are people who are mothers and nurses and
They're like
presidents.
saving the world, right?
Yeah, like they're leaders of countries. I like to think that my spiritual gift, other than teaching, is like TV whispering. Like I really feel like I might not even like the shows I'm recommending, but I can tell you, like, if you like The Americans, then you will like Orphan Black. So I really take it very seriously. Like, because you're a foodie and you recommend restaurants in Austin all the time. Doesn't that make you nervous because you're like, I know these are great, but I hope they have a great experience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right. So you're invested in those kind of recs.
Yeah.
I'm invested in recommending Netflix shows.
I love it so much. Are you watching The People versus OJ Simpson?
Oh my gosh. I watched it in real life, right? Like when I was in college, I remember we stopped our class to watch the verdict.
Oh, me too. I was in my senior year of English.
See, how funny is that?
Yeah.
And so now to get to see it back, I think it's a wonderful retelling. Like, I just think I read an article with Marcia Clark who even said, although they do have some things that are not quite right, like I didn't cry in court or.
I was wondering about these things, like how much of it is exactly accurate because my heart hurts for Marcia Clark.
Oh my gosh, right. And she goes, at first it was painful and I was so nervous, but now she's given it all the kudos. She says, I'm in it till the end. I'm going to watch because Sarah Paulson, I agree, is a revelation playing her as Marcia Clark. But there's a great Vulture every week, vulture.com. They do a great recap with the LA Times court reporter that was assigned that case at the time. And he kind of recaps every episode and says, yes, this is really true. Johnny Cochran and Christopher Darden did not get along. And then, or no, that, Detective Furnham was not that big of a deal because they already knew he was going to be a hot mess from the preliminary. So it wasn't like a surprise
right
how his testimony was going to go. So it's really interesting. But listen, Johnny Cochran, John Travolta and those eyebrows.
I think he's doing such a great job in this.
Such a good job.
We were watching it the other day, and Aaron's like, "Is that Kardashian?" Like don't know very much pop culture. Aaron knows even less than I do. Like I don't know why. I don't know these things. I do know Kim Kardashian just put up a naked picture of herself.
Yes, she did.
Why? What's happening with the world, Jamie, that we can put naked pictures of ourselves up on? Did it go on Twitter? I haven't searched. I don't want to see it, but
it was on Instagram, and she included the black bars.
It wasn't full on boobies?
It wasn't, because Instagram won't let you do that. Twitter will let you do that, but Instagram...
Okay. I thought that was just the news channels putting that over it.
No, she initially did, but now you could find it completely nude. And listen, she's been, her spread in Paper Magazine last year was a complete nude. Like, I've seen more of Kim Kardashian's body again than I've seen of my own. Like, and that's a true story. That's a true story. But if you say anything about it, you're slut shaming her. Don't slut shame her.
Right. What is up with that? How come?
I don't know. I don't know, because I don't agree with that. I think, rest on your talents. Listen, you created an empire. You're not without intelligence and without education and without smarts. Like, why do you keep going back to the same wheelhouse? And then she gets angry if you mention her sex tape. She gets really angry, and I'm like, girl, we're seeing your areolas. Like, this is what's happening. It's too much.
Oh my gracious. I just can't. I don't know what world I would have to be in to think it'd be okay. Well, first of all, nobody'd want to see what I would be putting up. So there's that. But still crazy. Okay. OJ Simpson. Who's behind it? Who's producing this? Who is the mastermind? Do you know?
It's Ryan Murphy is the showrunner, and Ryan Murphy is who he's brought us all the American Horror Stories. He brought us Glee. He brought us the movie Eat, Pray, Love. He and his producing partner, Brad Falchuk in real life dates Gwyneth Paltrow. So just a little pop culture knowledge for you. But they're bringing this to life, and it's under the banner of because we call it the People versus OJ Simpson, but it's under the banner of American Crime Story. So the intent is that this is going to be a regular anthology that we'll get another 10 episodes next year. It'll just be a different, it might be the Menendez brothers or John Bonet
Yeah.
Ramsey or something like that. So
Okay, so good. See, do you, all of you listening, do you see how much knowledge Jamie just like spews out? Like all those names you just said, I've never heard of one of them. And you knew what all the works they've been on.
well, I'll tell you,
Is
our
this a gift of
tagline.
yours? I mean, what's
Well,
happening?
no, I mean it's a bad use of my memory, really. Like I should be memorizing important things,
Like the book of Galatians or
like the
something?
entire book of Leviticus. If I could just
Right.
know the genealogy of Christ, that would be great.
We have a dinner party at our house tonight. Can you tell me like three things that are happening in the world I need to know besides Kim Kardashian putting naked pictures up of herself?
Oh wow. Okay,
What
so
could
that's
we
a
talk? What could I throw out that they would be like, Jamie, you're really up in the world today. Not politics. I'm talking like
You're
pop
sure
culture.
you don't want to talk about Donald Trump at your dinner
D
party?
Trump? No, I'm out.
No, you're out. Let's see. That's a great question. So I am
Because I will bring up
stalling-
OJ Simpson.
right, of
The people
course.
versus OJ Simpson because we're in that. We got that going on.
You got that going on.
Uh-huh.
This is well, there is I mean, you could talk about Ghostbusters. There's a lot of controversy right now
I
about
don't even know what you're talking like the old movie.
the old movie that was 30 years ago has been remade and comes out this year, and it is a remake by Paul Feig. He's the guy who did Bridesmaids.
Okay.
He's the guy who did Freaks and Geeks on TV. He also did Spy last year. He's often partners with
Spy.
Melissa.
I died laughing in that movie.
The movie's so good. It
That might
is
be
one
one
of the
of the
funniest.
5 movies I saw last year was Spy.
Oh, good. Well, it was a great movie.
Yeah.
So he did that. And so he brought in Melissa McCarthy. So now it's a female Ghostbusters.
Oh.
So it's an interesting take, and there's been a lot of controversy about it because people are angry that it's being remade at all, B, that it's women. There's a lot of misogyny out there about it being women. But it's Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig
Oh my
from
gosh, it's going to be hilarious.
Kate McKinnon from SNL and Leslie Jones from SNL. And so there's a lot of controversy because even in the trailer released recently, and Leslie Jones' character, she's an African American actress. It was great that they said, oh, it's great that they're bringing in an African American, but her role is she's the only one that's not a scientist. And so there's a lot of controversy. And she
gosh,
said,
yeah.
that's not controversial. Why do you even care? So you could talk about, just go, like, do we care? What about remakes? Like, you could talk about Fuller House. Like, are we okay with reboots?
You hate it.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it. I hate it for sure. I think the people who watched Fuller House, even the ones who hated it, like they loved it, but they know that it's bad TV.
But they know they love the nostalgic of it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the people.
They just like seeing DJ Tanner again.
I liked
But-
when they made jabs at the twins, Mary Kate and
Yes,
Ashley.
like these kind of veiled, like we know that you're not here.
Right.
And that you didn't want to be here because you're multimillionaires, and
Right.
we're all not multimillionaires, so we needed this gig. And so-
I when the flu hit me, everyone I keep talking about it, but the flu thing took me down. My thing was I'm gonna watch the whole Fuller House. Like why not? It's all up on Netflix. I've got all the time in the world, and I watched 3, and that's all I made it through.
I watched the first episode and then said, I'm good. I'm set for life.
Yeah.
I never have to see a full house again.
A Full House again. Okay,
Yeah.
well, can I did want to talk to you about this because you're my person that I would want to, and I have yet to talk about this on the happy hour this
Ooh.
year. Is that I've been watching The Bachelor.
As
I
all
haven't-
good people should be
I
doing.
haven't watched since Sean
Oh,
and
wow.
Catherine. So it's been a
You've-
while, huh?
You've not missed anything.
Except for this
Truly.
is the most dramatic rose ceremony coming up, and I believe
Oh,
it.
gosh. Right? How great is this season? Ben Higgins is a great bachelor. He loves Jesus. He's put the word of the Lord on his side.
And
Like
what is it on his side? Is it Bible verses?
it's a passage from Proverbs.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like exactly where Jesus got sword in the side. It's beautiful. I love it, and he looks good. He looks good, right?
But he took all the women to this fantasy suite, and it always like pains me to know I don't need to know what went on in there. Obviously, it's none of my business. But if someone's got the word of the Lord on their side and they are like saying I'm a Christian, I always wonder, like, it's still none of my business. And people
Right,
can do
but,
what they
like,
want to do.
What level naughty conservative are they?
Right.
Yeah, like I'm not maybe that level naughty conservative.
No, yeah.
Right, but he may be, and all those ladies may be. The reason this season is so dramatic for those of you who watch like Frontline instead, which by the way, I watch Frontline and The Bachelor. I'm a well-rounded TV watcher. But he has said no bachelor or bachelorette has ever told a contestant that they were in love with them prior to
The
the final
yeah.
episode. And he has told two of the final contestants long before the final episode that he is in love with both of them.
It's crazy. Like
And so
literally
it's
crazy.
that. It's so sad because you see their little faces so confident because they're like, oh, well, he's in love
I'm
with
in.
me. Yeah, I've got this.
Which
And
they
then they
should
do not.
feel that way because that's not the norm for the Bachelor to be like, I love you. So this
No.
morning before we chatted, this is Friday morning, we're talking, I watched the Women Tell All because I hadn't watched it this week. And I was like, well, this is like show prep. I have to do this.
Right.
And so Aaron was downstairs doing stuff and the women were fighting and they're like, I don't remember saying that, whatever. And Aaron's like, I think they don't remember because it looks like they're always drunk. Like maybe that's why they can't remember what they're saying. But I always love the Women Tell All because they all get back together and they've all watched it unfold and they are pissed.
They're angry at I think they're really the angriest. Let's make this therapeutic. I think they're angriest at themselves.
At themselves because they watched what they look like.
Right. Because when they applied for the show, it was all like, I'll be different than the other 20 seasons.
Of
like,
course.
I'm not going to be the crazy one or whatever. And then what happens is they get on and they are the worst version of themselves. Maybe because of cocktails. Maybe not.
And editing. I mean, but still,
And
you
editing,
can't
yes.
edit. You can't. Can you edit crazy? Can you make someone crazy through edits? I think that you have to put crazy out there.
I think there is a crazy foundation.
There you go.
There is a crazy foundation. And so what's fun is when they come back and they're all sitting next to each other and they're gorgeous. These women are all gorgeous. What is so fun is that they all, I think, are sitting there thinking they're all still the crazy ones and I'm not. And it's like, you should not point that finger. Let kindergarten be your lesson here, ladies. Don't point your finger and not notice the three pointing back.
That's right. That's right. So you're a single woman. Would you go on The Bachelor?
I actually did the application process almost as it was a goof. Like I was really doing this goof, but I did the application process for the season of Sean, the last season you saw. I was like, well, if anyone deserves a rose, it's me and Sean, like together. Like we should be together. But I didn't do anything past that. Like I did get a follow-up email and then I was like, this is bonkers. Why would I do this?
What happened?
This is crazy. I didn't even respond. I probably shut down that email account and was like, no. I don't want any record of this. But I would not, only because it's hard now. I'm even starting now to even think about online dating. And the idea that makes me super nervous.
So you've never ventured out into online dating?
I haven't. And I've had so many friends. I mean, I have friends who've been married more than 5 years who met their significant others. I mean, they met their husbands on eHarmony or Match.com I've been to so many weddings and they're very open. And it used to be a secret, right?
Yes.
Like you're like, we met in a cooking class. Like, no, you didn't. You met online. But
that used to be shady. Like you met shady people online.
You met shady people. But like, you and I were friends. We met online.
We did.
Like, that's how we initially met. And so now, and even some of my closest friends in the universe are people that I met on Twitter or on an airplane or, like in weird places. And so I have to go like, okay, this is 2016. This is the reality. Texting is going to be a part. Even when I date now, like texting is such a huge part of our dating relationship, which all of my friends thinks is bonkers, but I'm like, it is what I'm now a Snapchat generation.
Are you on Snapchat, by the way?
No, heavens no.
Why not? I feel like every time I turn around, another one of my friends is saying, follow me on Snapchat. And I start to get nervous, like, should I be doing this? Am I missing out on something?
No, I think if you want to be on Snapchat, like, kudos to you. To me, it's just not a platform that I want to be able to stalk your past. And if
you can't there, right?
Yeah, the pictures and the stories disappear. So it's no value to me as a user. So I need to be able to go back 38 weeks into your Instagram and see what you did last summer. Like, I want to know.
Do you do that to people?
I didn't for a long time. We recently talked about that on an episode of the podcast it's called Insta lurking. It's an Urban Dictionary term. And I didn't until someone Insta lurked me and commented on a photo that was a long time ago and then sent it to me as it was somebody that I had gone out on a date with, and they sent me this picture that I posted, a throwback Thursday from 2014. And I went, what are you like, where did you get that picture? And he's
Right.
like, oh, is that not what you do? I was like, no, what's happening? And then the person they were hurt that I didn't. I've had a couple of people say they're hurt that I have not learned about them by like Facebook lurking or Insta lurking.
So Insta lurking, do you ever have that moment where you're like lurking back and the little line at the top says, like 180 weeks ago, and you accidentally like something, and then you're like, oh crap.
No,
now they know.
You have to go, you have to throw your iPhone on the ground and stomp on it. You have to go to a kiosk and get a burner phone. Like you have to go off the grid immediately, because that is the most humiliating, scariest. It's like when you send a text to the wrong person.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And maybe it's not like you really did not want them to read it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I can sometimes tell when I get a new follower and they do a lot of Insta lurking.
Sure.
Because there's 78 new likes by the same person for my entire Instagram career. So funny.
And you're like, well, I'm glad you liked that season of my life. Thanks so much. It's actually, I see it as a compliment. I'm never offended by it. I'm always like, well, I'm interesting enough to wander around in their past. Yeah.
You know what I'm also so thankful is that I did not have Instagram before I was a woman with a head on my shoulders.
Praise baby Jesus for that, right?
Right.
Holy moly. Like, I mean, my college years, there are no Vines. There are no Periscope. There was no Periscoping. There was no, it's really, again, I mean, they were really, and sometimes I'm sad because I think that part of my life wasn't well documented because we never had a camera on us or whatever.
I'm happy it wasn't
well
documented.
I would much rather it be than this now. I mean, I have so many friends who say, can you take a look at my Facebook so that I'll know if there's anything I need to remove? I mean, I've been at jobs where we've hired people and we've not sent people on further into the interview process because of their Instagram.
Social media. Yeah. I believe that. And we try to tell, the younger generation behind us about that. And they're like, no, it's no big deal. I'm like, it really is a big deal. It really is a big deal.
It is a huge deal. It's the way you just carry yourself, like the way you talk about politics or anything. You just never know. You think you know your friends. You do not know your friends. You don't know how people feel about a certain issue, or, like some people may be really bothered by Kim Kardashian's breast, whereas you think, well, it's not a big deal. And you retweet it or you share that post, and then someone who's in HR at a company you really want to work with that you didn't even know sees it, and they're like, oh no, not that person. So I'm always really careful about stuff like that. I mean, I obviously have a lot of nude photos, but I just don't post them on the internet.
I mean, there's a place for them. I mean, it's in your house.
It's in your house.
In a 16 by 20 canvas.
Canvas that's airbrushed, right?
So you look like Kim Kardashian, yeah.
Yeah, and then you tell people, hey, this is the tax for knowing me in real life. You have to look at this.
I actually went to dinner at someone's house one time, and it wasn't a nude photo, but it was a picture of their wife. And I don't remember where I was in the house, and it was a small little picture. Yeah. And it wasn't nude, but it was just weird. Like it was
like a boudoir photo.
Yeah, and it was a little much. I wish I wouldn't have seen it. It was just like, huh, that's maybe we should put that in the sock drawer. Is where I think that should go. Yeah.
Listen, no. Okay, so I was at a friend's house for like a Tupperware or like a Pampered Chef party.
I was gonna say Tupperware. Does that really happen anymore?
It doesn't, but like Noonday does parties. And,
no, I know Pampered Chef. I just haven't heard of anyone buying Tupperware since I was in like second grade.
Call back to 1989, y'all.
There you go.
But I was we had put our bags in coats in the bedroom, and so when this was a dear friend of mine, and I worked with her, and I noticed that there was a hook on the door frame, but not a hook like on the side where you like hang a towel or like normal people would have a hook. It was like in the frame, like underneath, like where you would hang like mistletoe. And I mentioned, but the door closes, and it was really weird. And I said something to her about it. I said, "That's weird." And she goes, "Do you want me to tell you what it is?"
No.
I said, "Yes." And I leaned in closer, just like I imagined this scenario would play out. And she goes, "It's for our swing." Your swing?
Like a
good times, like a good time swing, like your baby swing. She said, "No, not our baby swing. Like our swing." I went, I'm going to go now. Like, this is more information than I ever. And these people, I mean, they're on their praise and worship team at their church.
I'm not trying to be like this little meek, innocent woman. I don't know what will you do with the swing in a bedroom?
We should talk about it because I don't know either. So we should just like we should guess what could happen on a swing.
I mean, I
If this was a
guess
real happy hour, that's what we would be doing right now. Like,
if
let's
this wasn't
imagine.
recorded for thousands of people to hear, we would keep going. But I'm going to guess that we should stop right here
Let's pause. Yes,
and just let everyone do their thing.
yeah,
Someone's listening and they're like, "I have a swing. I'll
and
tell
they're
you
like,
later."
I'll email you later.
Yeah.
Let y'all know. Thank
We
you. We
wanna
would
know.
like you to do that. We would like you to
I
inform
would
us.
really love to hear about your swing. Okay, that is just hilarious. Okay, guys, we're going to get right back to talking with Jamie, but first I want to tell you about another sponsor for the show, and that is Lilly Jade. You've heard me talk about them before because they were on our Christmas episode. Well, Lilly Jade bags, it's such an incredible value. Normally, a full grain leather premium tote would retail for hundreds more, but thanks to their unique e-commerce model, Lilly Jade's able to get their gorgeous pieces into even more women's hands. Some of their most popular styles can be worn 3 different ways. And you know, as women like things that can be worn 3 different ways. Number 1, you can wear it over the shoulder or a crossbody or as a backpack. Every single one of their bags comes with a removable, washable 16-pocket organizer to protect your investment and to organize all your gear. Ladies, if you could see the inside of my purse right now, it would be astonishing. I need this 16-piece thing in every single one of my purses. I have a Lilly Jade bag. It's my computer bag. I love it. It's the best bag I've ever traveled with. These are also diaper bags, but you know I'm way past the diaper stage, but I still love my Lilly Jade bag. Lilly Jade is not just a great bag company either. The heart of Lilly Jade is to give back, supporting all women and especially moms. Every month, for example, Lilly Jade gives a bag away to a deserving adoptive mom. I love that so much, and they're also running monthly campaigns on Instagram to celebrate the everyday stories of amazing women. Follow them on Instagram. It's at Lilly Jade Co. That's LILYJADECO. And then you're going to join in and you're going to be able to share your story with them as well. I highly recommend you follow them on Instagram because they post beautiful pictures anyways, but then you can see more of their bags. So guys, check out their Instagram, but also go check out their website. It's lily-jade.com. So it's LILY-jade.com. This is make a perfect Mother's Day gift too for anyone in your life. All right, Lilly Jade, thanks for sponsoring the happy hour. Okay, Jamie, you quit your job how long ago was it that you quit your job?
I quit my job 2 years ago.
And what was your job?
I was a marketing director at a nonprofit ever since I was in high school, or really college. When I left college, I had a degree in sociology, women's studies, and African American studies. I don't know if you know much
you
about.
Go far with what
Oh
you
my gosh,
do
so
with
many
that.
jobs, so many jobs. So, in order to get a job, you have to sell that degree, and the rule is if you can convince people that that's a worthy degree, then you're automatically a PR professional. Like you're already like grandfathered in.
Right.
And so that's why I went into marketing because I could convince people that was worth $36,000 a year. And so I went into marketing, but I worked in nonprofits. So and my first job was recruiting foster and adoptive parents. So
I've heard you talk about adoption before.
I have a real heart for adoption, not in practice, but in awareness.
For sure,
I know.
yeah.
I can't even have a dog or a plant, so much less like a human
Child,
who has needs. But kudos to all of you and parents like you who open up their homes to kids in need. And so I did that and then worked in ministry and like always had a heart for teenagers and doing camps and conferences for kids. And so when I went at this last agency, I was there for 7 years and I was their marketing director and coordinated conferences and things for social workers. It was a family and child welfare agency. But about 6 years in, I just really genuinely was doing a devotional one day. And in the margins, because, you write in the margins of your devotionals if you're holy.
Right.
And so I wrote in margins
Uh-huh.
that I should quit my job. And it was as if like God had come down and taken the pen and written it. And then I was like, oh, no, that's bonkers.
Was that just so out of the blue? Like,
it was crazy. I mean, because I loved my job. It wasn't like, this is your way out of a job you hate, or this is how I'm going to solve your problems with your coworkers. Like, I loved everyone I worked with. It's orphans. It's not like I was working on Wall Street and doing, horrible things and stealing money from people. So I was shocked. And so I did what I often do with God is I don't like to call it ignoring him. I like to call it screening his calls. And so, which is disobedience biblically. But I avoided him for a long time. But it was funny, like every conversation I had, every small group I was in, every sermon I heard, every podcast I listened to, it was all about taking leaps of faith and quitting whatever it was in your life. And I would just be like, you think he's talking to me?
Right.
And I'd be like, no, no, he's not. And I even went on a sabbatical, like, because I thought I'm really going to go hear the word. I'm going to go hear his voice.
Because we're not talking about like, oh, I'm trying to make a decision if I should go on a 1 week mission trip to, Iraq and share Jesus with the Taliban. We're talking about, I mean, and that's a big, that would be something.
That's pretty big. I'm already not wanting to do that.
The reason is I say that is because that would be something that would really make you pause, like, but it's a week.
It's a week. And you're like, he can protect me for a week.
Exactly. A week. But you're saying, I'm going to like quit my job, my income, my life, my everything.
Everything. Yeah. And so I thought maybe I'm hearing this wrong. And I'm a big believer that God speaks to you in a voice that you understand. And so for everybody, it's going to be different. Like he's not necessarily going to speak to you the same way that he speaks to me, but he's pretty straightforward with me. And I've always been I've always thought, yes, that's exactly what he's saying. But I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read the Bible. Not that I didn't already, but I was like, I'm going to start at page 1. And I'm just going to see what God tells me. Well, Genesis, if you are thinking about taking a leap of faith, Genesis is not where you want to start to get out of it.
Right.
Because it's just a lot of people not doing what God told them to do and them ending up naked. Like that's really, right? It's Adam and Eve naked. It's Jacob naked. Like just people naked in the desert, naked in the wilderness. And so that
must have been a really good big fear of yours, is to end up naked in front of everybody.
Well, for sure. Well, naked. I mean,
that is the fear of everyone except for Kim.
Except for Kim Kardashian, it's a real fear for most of us. Yeah, and so it was even just spiritually ending up naked and not doing, because he wasn't. It wasn't like he was showing me the next job I was going to take. And so finally, what happened was I avoided him and ended up crying in women's conferences. I was crying in writers' conferences, like because he was just consistently telling me to do it. And what happened was one night I just had an out loud conversation with him and said, "Hey, you're not showing me what's next. Like, why would you ask me to do this? I'm going to watch Scandal now. Please stop talking to me." And I turned on the DVR and watched and I was about 4 minutes into Olivia Pope, hugging on Fitz. And I got a text message from a friend that I'd not heard from in many months who just said, truly, this is what the text said. It said, "Hey, I was just prepping for a Bible study and I'm reading in Deuteronomy about the Israelites not trusting God and not willing to leave, and that God was really kind of upset with their disobedience. And your face has been in front of my face the whole time I'm studying for this passage. Do you know what this is about?" And I was like, delete me from your contacts. Yeah.
This is not Jamie Golden. I don't know who you're talking to.
I don't know who you're talking about. Wrong number. But I did go,
okay, that's crazy, Jamie.
It was crazy. And let me tell you, if God starts text messaging you, you don't want to know what the next form of communication is going to be. Like I was not prepared for my house to be on fire and it start talking to me while it was burning. And so the next day I turned in my letter of resignation.
Stop.
I did, because I was like, oh, I can't push this any further. This would be bad.
So your friend, you hadn't confided in her the stress.
I had not told anyone other than really my close circle and a couple of pastoral counselors, but not her. I mean, no, we didn't even run in the same social circle. And so I said, I got to do it. And so I quit not knowing. And I'll be honest with you, 2 years later, I don't really know what's next now even. I think God pushes us out into wilderness, not always to get us to the next destination, but really to camp us out there for a season because he needs us to learn a lot of different things. And for me, one of the lessons was, I know the Lord's Prayer. I've studied the Lord's Prayer, but during this season, I really did take a study and kind of go into how does Jesus teach us how to pray? Because I need to know how to do that because I need to pay my mortgage. And so I need him to help me do that. And the first thing is give us this day our daily bread, right? And so I had always been somebody who said, give us this day our 10-year bread.
Like you need a plan. I need to know what's happening.
I need to know what's going to happen in my life a year from now or whatever. And it was like God really needed to break me of that. And so I can now say with really a lot of confidence, I mean, that was a painful, painful lesson because I spent a lot of time anxious and worried about how am I going to pay my bills and how am I going to, because I have no income and whatever I don't have marketable skills. I didn't think I had any marketable skills, but he just kind of showed me like, you can do this and this and this, and your job does not, it is not your identity. That was obviously a difficult, I camped out a lot in Psalms because in the sad Psalms, right? Because you want to be in the sad Psalms when you're sad. It's like you listen to sad music when you're sad, to feel it. And so but I ended up in Psalm 139, which is a very, I mean, we all like want to put I'm fearfully, wonderfully made on our baby's nursery
Right.
wall so
Mm-hmm.
they'll know. But I love that David wrote that after David's life had been a hot mess, like after he'd had an affair with a married woman, after he'd had her husband killed. And the fact that he could sit down and go, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I am fearfully, wonderfully made. I know that full well. And so I really prayed in early in, like I would know that my job title is not what I am. Like I'm a child of God,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the only thing that matters. It may not matter in culture, and people may look at you strange, and your parents may think, "Oh, we're gonna have to have her move
Support
back
her.
in.
Yeah.
This is great." But in 2 years, I've had every need met. It's been tight and it's
Uh-huh.
been close sometimes, but God has provided in really whimsical ways and very practical ways, and it's taught me to be a better steward. And but I still don't know. Like people, if I tell that story, they're like, "But what
What,
happened?"
yeah. What
I don't
happened
know.
in 2 months?
Well, now it's a season of God has given me an opportunity to be really present with people. So
Mm.
relationships that I had really discarded because I was working 70 hours a week for orphans. I'd orphaned my family. I'd orphaned my friends,
For the
you
sake
know,
of the kids.
for the sake of this good work that I
Mm-hmm.
was doing. And I don't think that's wrong. I think you can work long hours and do great work and hustle, and that's good. But for me, I was missing out on the lives of the people I really loved. And I thought, at the end of this, which relationships are going to matter the most to me? And it wasn't going to be how well did I grow this Facebook page for this agency. It was going to be
Right.
how well do I know my niece. Um, and so I just kind of I've spent a season. I have a few jobs, so I'm a baker. I started making cake pops just as a fun like side thing, but not even for money, just like I like doing it as a stress releaser. And now it's a job and like pays my bills. It's weird.
Cake
And then
pops.
cake pops.
Do you
I have
ship these cake pops? Because every time you put up some cake pops on Instagram, I always think to myself, that'd be a fun gift for someone to
it would
show
be
up on their doorstep.
what a great thought that you had, Jamie. That's an excellent thought.
Do you
Yes,
ship
I
them?
do. I ship them 8 months a year. The summer
Oh,
in the
yeah, you've
South.
told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hellish humidity that
Right.
will not be kind to cake on a stick. But I do 8 months a year, and I ship. I make for weddings and for birthdays and for holidays and things like that.
Where's
And
your
just
website?
it's
Sweet
jamiesweetrevenge.com.
Revenge. Okay.
Sweet Revenge. And then like you talked about earlier, the podcast. Knox and I started that podcast before I left my job,
Oh,
but
I
it was
didn't know that.
yeah, it was in August and I quit in October. And so we launched this podcast, but it was really just something we liked doing. And we had a decent chemistry. And he's a little Eeyore, I'm a little Tigger. And so it was a good partnership. And then fast forward to now I mean, he has left his job. Like we've made this really a priority and it's actually helped like fund our lives
Yeah.
in a beautiful way. And we really, really love it. And so it's been unexpected things. Like I really did think eventually, God will show me another full-time job and I'll have a 401k and it'll be magical. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just not been the case. And because he often doesn't quite answer the prayers exactly like we thought, but he has at the heart of who he is, he's a provider and he has kept every promise in that realm for me in this journey. And so
Yeah.
I've learned to trust him more than I ever have. And probably now I'm almost like, hey, you're going to do this, right? Great. Okay, good.
Right.
I just hopefully am living a defaulted, trustworthy lifestyle. It's not that I don't get nervous sometimes, but if I'm faithful, he is beyond faithful.
Well,
So,
and I love that because I think anyone listening, like, it may not be quitting their job, is what
right,
they
right.
feel that God's asking them to do. But we have all experienced, I think probably this is going to be a broad statement. I would say most people who follow Jesus, who are believers, have felt that tension of God is asking me to do something
Yeah.
that doesn't seem, quote unquote, the norm.
Yes.
And it's hard to do that. And you want to be like, no, but I trust him more than whatever. But at the end of the day, you also are thinking, well, I have bills to pay and I
Yes.
like this that I'm doing. You're asking me to give up something I like, and so I think that there are people that can relate and be encouraged by your story, even if it doesn't involve a job for them.
For sure. Because even anything revolving around finances can be a very scary
Stressful,
prospect.
yeah.
Very stressful. And listen, I didn't have, it wasn't like I could really go to my husband and say, hey, you're going to cover us, right? Because I didn't have a husband. I
Right.
still don't have a husband. So,
Right.
like, there was no one to really, like, lean on for a season other than myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but even then, like, I have friends who are in that journey of, well, even one income is very different than two incomes, especially when you're used to it or you need two
Mm-hmm.
incomes. And the idea that you would have to alter your life. But I will say that I always, when I get sad, because sometimes one thing that I gave up, I had to, was traveling, and I always loved it, but I did have to back off of it because it just couldn't be. And
Like
there was a part
financially.
financially, it's
Mm-hmm.
just you can't go to Europe
Yeah.
twice a year
Mm-hmm.
when you really need to, when your income is a third of what it was.
Right.
But I always say when I'm sad, when I'm insta sad, right? Because insta sadness is a thing. And
Uh-huh.
so unfollow those people that make you insta sad. Then you won't be sad
Let it
anymore.
go.
Let it go. Elsa, she's so wise.
I know, right?
And so I will sometimes get sad, but then I'll go, look, you have not worn pants in 3 days. This is
Right.
magical. This is the sacrifice you make. You don't get to go see Jane Austen's house in England, but you also just drank coffee for 7 hours straight at a coffee shop and you ate pastries. Like, this
Yeah.
was great.
I
Like, it's
know.
fine.
I
So the
love this
trade-off,
job I have.
right? You love your job.
I love my
I mean,
job.
I love my job, and and even like I was in a small group recently where it was a leadership group, and the woman had started young 20s, and I've told the story to everybody because I love it so much. She decided to lead a small group because our church does kind of free market, and you can just create a small group based on anything.
What church do you go to?
I go to Church of the Highlands
Okay.
in Birmingham,
Who's your
and
pastor? I'm sorry.
Pastor Chris Hodges. He's
Okay.
great.
Okay.
He's got 2 books. He's fantastic. He's a good egg. He's a
Okay.
good egg. But she started a small group because when she was in college, she had a STD, and she's now married. And she's like, it was just such a shameful time in my life. And she goes, but I really felt like God was telling me to lead a small group for women who have STDs. And I thought that was the dumbest thing that God would ever, like, I'm going to be open and honest
Right.
about this thing that was so shameful. And ends up,
And ask other people to show up and be like,
yes,
hey, me too.
yeah, like, hey, I'm here at your house. I
Uh-huh.
have syphilis.
Right.
Like, that feels very weird. But she did it. She was obedient, as scared as she was. And the group has had such powerful moments of women who would say, I sat in the car 30 minutes before
Wow.
got up the courage to come in, but I knew I needed to connect because I had such shame surrounding this. And we realized, and then it's prompted her like, her day job was an accountant. She's now left her job to really pursue, how do I start coming alongside crisis pregnancy centers, like faith-based, who are doing all these great work with women who are scared and pregnant. How do we help women who are scared with an STD? How do we
Wow.
help them find freedom from the shame? So that really scary thing of leading a small group has now altered the track of her life, which is kind of magical.
Isn't that crazy?
I love it. I do. I love it.
You told me that you teach a class at your church about kind of this same thing, helping women find their purpose and what they're doing with their personality and stuff. What is that?
We teach, everybody at our church can go through this class. We offer it every month, and it's discovering your purpose. And so it really looks at, because that's a big question, whether you're
I
a
was
believer
thinking
or not.
that's a huge question.
It's a huge. People are wondering, why are they here on earth, and
Yeah.
how do I make the most of the time? And so it is taking your personality. So we do a legitimate personality quiz, which I'm upset. I mean, I take every BuzzFeed quiz on the internet because I want
Yes.
to know. I want to know which friend I am.
What are your the ENFJST things?
I'm an ENFP. Do you know what you are?
Well, you know what's funny is I've taken this test before, and every
Right.
single time I take it, I can't remember what I am. Megan Teets, a friend of
Yes.
both of ours,
Yes.
she remembers. Anytime someone tells her what they are, she like puts it in her brain, remembers. So anytime someone asks me, I have to text her and say,
And
"Hey,
say,
can you tell me one more time what I am?"
which is great.
And she's so kind. She does it every time.
That is so. She's a personality savant.
Yes.
Like, really. Like, because what's happened is you've told her 4 letters. She and I are both ENFPs. When you tell her your letters, she's now knows everything about you.
Well,
Because she knows what that means.
I'm gonna have her come on the show and we're gonna talk about this so I can
Oh,
never
yes.
forget it. It'll be like I am an ESFJ. And I just had to look at our Boxer conversation last night.
That's so fun.
ESFJ.
Well, then that says a lot about you because I'm a feeler and you're a feeler. So we have that feeling in common. and we have the extrovert in common, but we sense the world differently and we perceive it a little, like I'm very much like, this is real because I see it's real. Whereas you might be like, is it real? I don't know. This doesn't seem quite right. But I'm always like, I trust everything at face value. Like, I'm like, well, that's what it is.
That's what it says it is, so that's what it is.
So that's what it is. So,
and I would be more like, there's something missing. This is not right.
Oh, and really, I say many times it's better to be that way because I'm constantly like, there's plenty of gas in the car.
Right.
I don't care what it says.
That can't be right.
That can't be right. I know it's right. I just trust that the chair will hold me. I trust that the shoes won't break. I trust that the mascara won't run. And all those things happen to me all the time.
Right.
So,
okay, so do you have people take these personality?
Yeah, so they take their personality test. They also take a spiritual gifts test to kind of see what is it about them. And then we kind of unpack that for people. We call it connecting the dots. So we say, based on the fact that your people are task oriented and that you have this personality, we use a DISC profile, DISC, and then we do your spiritual gifts and we connect the dots for people and just say, not that this is what you're supposed to do at our church, but this is what these are the kind of things you should be doing. So with that woman who is doing a small group for, women with STDs, her personality probably is an S because she probably likes one-on-one relationships with people. She really wants to develop. She probably has a spiritual gifting in the area of mercy because people who you're serving, like I have no mercy, but people who have the spiritual gift of mercy, it's like the supernatural helping. Plus those people are going to encounter people who need mercy all the time. And I think when people are able to unpack that, it makes so much. Every time someone goes through our class, they just nod their head at you and like, yeah, that's how I see the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my personality, I think personality assessment, separate from faith, is one of the most useful tools in learning how to communicate with people. I think one of the biggest problems we have in relationships is we just don't understand someone speaking a different language than us. And so my whole family, my poor family, like at Christmas, I made them all take the personality test. And I was like, that's why my mom needs the spatulas in the drawer that way. Because I understand why my dad needs, like he likes, like when he hangs pictures, he uses this thing called a level. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I'm not familiar with that.
Put it up.
I just put it up and gum it to get it straight. We're fine. And so understanding that, like, why does he yell at me when I go a different route on the road? And I'm like, well, the light was green and I just decided to turn so I didn't have to stop. Right. And he's like, that's not how we decide things.
But it is so good when you start to see the people that you interact with all the time that's why they do that.
Yeah.
And then you can hopefully be more gracious with them,
Oh, the kind of mercy that you'll have for people when, like, people who are kind of competent and task oriented, I've always been trying to convert them. For a long time, I was a converter. Like if you were an introvert, I was like, oh, I'm going to make you an extrovert.
Come on out. Yeah.
Come be with us. Be energized. And now my friendship group, like in my friend group, I'm mostly friends with extroverts, but I have an introverted friend, my dear friend, Catherine, who even on a weekend, we went away for birthday weekend. I made sure that where we were staying, she had her own room. Like she didn't have to share a room.
She needed it.
Because I knew she would need to be away from us. Whereas we all wanted to like be on the couch together the whole time. Let's sleep together.
One big room with beds. Like, let's just all be together.
I'm like, dorm room, come on. And she stayed, let me tell you, we like camped out in the living room and she took a nap and stayed in that room 4 hours. So finally we texted her. I was like, you have to come be with us now. Like, we're sad. And she's like, that's what I needed. I needed 4 hours away from y'all.
But see, I think that what happens when people don't understand that about each other is they're like, well, she's so, like, she's being so rude right now. We went on this big getaway and all she wants to do is sit in her room. Like, but then for you guys to be like, she's not being rude. That's just, she's actually thriving. And this is great. And she's going to show up for dinner with us and she's going to get filled up in the hour and a half. And then she's going to go back in her room.
That's exactly right. Happy. And we're all going to have a better experience because everybody's needs are met.
Yeah. I think that would probably help out a lot of families, especially when you're bringing families together, like, husbands and new father-in-laws or mother-in-law, like just to be able to understand each other, that's how they tick and that's how they work best.
Yeah. No, if you're looking for an activity during a family dinner, it should be pull out a DISC profile. Everybody take it.
Is this online? We can do this?
It's online. You can take a DISC profile online.
I'm going to do it today.
Yeah, and we'll link to it. But what's great about it is it really does help you know, like, oh, that's why he doesn't like it when I talk about my feelings.
Right.
Because that's his personality, whereas all I want to do is talk about my feelings.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that he doesn't love me. It's just, I should really do it on first dates. Hey,
Hey.
I'm going to get the lobster. I also want you to take this disc profile.
And
Thanks
then
so much.
and then we can see where this
And then we can
goes.
decide if this is going to work.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take it today, and I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah,
And
tell me. I want to know.
I think that we're gonna need to come meet back up on Tuesday and say our thoughts on The Bachelor.
I think we will.
So we might do that, but until then, I
That's
want to
fine.
know 3 things you're loving,
Okay, so I'm prepared.
and I have 3 things I'm loving too.
I want to hear, yeah, I want to know what you're loving right now. So, my 3 things that I'm loving right now. Okay, so first of all, I'm loving YouTube videos that are makeup tutorials. Here's the deal. My
That
mother did
surprises
not,
me about you.
doesn't it? It's weird. It surprises me about myself. My mom didn't wear makeup growing up. So I really just looked at Barbie and was like, this is where she puts the eyeliner. That's where I'm going to put it.
Blue eyeshadow.
Blue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. This is real. Like, and pink lipstick, although I really shouldn't wear pink ever. I didn't understand skin tones or anything. I didn't understand that concealer didn't go all over your face because that's where I put it. Wow.
These
I'm
are
ashy.
small
What-
things. Like if your mom doesn't teach you this,
Yeah. And she doesn't care about those things at all. And I'm actually a Sephora, like, I have to like drive by Sephora and be like, don't pull in, don't pull in, don't pull. Because I
you
love
just want to go
makeup.
buy stuff.
I want to try it on and then I want to buy all the things they tell me are magical. And so there's a great YouTube artist. Here's the problem. YouTubers that do makeup tutorials, they're the worst because they look beautiful without makeup.
You're like,
But
this isn't fair.
Like, this is not fair. But I found Sharon Farrell, who is this beautiful Irish woman who lives in Australia, who is a delight. She would not be offended if I said this. Her skin looks like crap when she doesn't have makeup on. But then when she puts it on, she's gorgeous. And she taught me how to use concealer and brushes. Like, I never used a brush to put on makeup. And she taught me how to use brushes. So I'm obsessed with, like, I want to use fake eyelashes.
Do you put them on yourself?
I do. I put them on myself.
I
Now,
need that YouTube tutorial stat.
yes, she does. And taught me how to, like, as I get older, I didn't know that your brows disappeared. I was like, what's happening to my brows?
So
Where
you're
did they-
like putting them in?
Yes, I put them in. They're put in now. You can see me.
Oh.
They're put in now. And so, so that's one thing I'm loving.
Okay,
right now.
speaking of brows, real quick before I hear your other things, I got my eyebrows waxed or something, and she
Yes.
colored them in, whatever. So I
Yes.
was like, oh, I'm gonna try this. So I go to the Target, whatever. I get a little eyebrow pencil.
Yeah.
So I start doing it, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm a little concerned that I'm looking weirdo. But my girlfriend texted me. She's like, what are you doing different lately? Every time I see a picture of you, something's different. And I was like, I don't know. I've been putting this stuff in my eyebrows. Like, she could tell a difference.
Yeah.
And she
It's-
was like, it looks amazing.
It's funny, you don't think about it until, and what you really should do to really do it is, and a great brow kit that you can spend no money on, Elf, the
Oh, yeah, I see that. Uh-huh.
eyes, lip, and face at Walmart or Target. It's a $3 brow kit. It's a perfect brow kit. Like, it's all you need to pull it off. You can buy more expensive
Yeah.
ones for sure. But it's the frame of your face and you don't even realize it. And so I always look more awake. You can't notice any wrinkles because you're like, look how strong
Look
her
at
brow.
those brows.
That's amazing. John Travolta,
Oh,
he understands the power of a
he
brow.
does. Oh my
He
gosh.
understands. The other thing I'm loving is I've loved Spotify for a long time, but I'm obsessed with playlists. Like, upset. Like, I love a mood. I like to listen while I do anything. Clean the house, drive the car, write, prep for podcasts, do anything. And so creating playlists and finding people on Spotify and finding playlists. And this is like a weird self-promotion, but the podcast has a slew of playlists. And one of my
I hear
favorites
y'all say that all the time, and I have already expressed how out of it I am. Things I don't think I've ever used Spotify.
oh my gosh.
Do you pay for this?
You can use it for free and you can have a free account.
I'm
You
sure
just
the
have to
artists love
occasionally-
that.
Yes, I know. I'm so sorry, Taylor Swift, but I bought her album. It's fine. She's fine. But
She's fine.
she's doing great.
Yeah.
Like, she's not worried about that $9.99. But I pay a monthly fee because I
Okay.
really want no ads. So I pay $10 a month, and I have for a couple years. So I've been doing it a long time. I've been paying for it.
And it's worth it for you because you make all these different playlists. Like I've heard you say you have different mood playlists.
Oh, I have a serotonin playlist when
Ah.
I need a boost and there's no mac and cheese in sight.
Right?
So I'm like, I'm going to listen to this playlist and it's going to make me feel happier immediately.
Huh.
Or the way I can clean my house. I have an 80s mixtape, a 90s mixtape.
I love it.
And so you can find me there, but you can also find the podcast. One of their best playlists is acoustic covers. So covers of songs, but that are kind of low key. It's like over 100 songs. It's really like a fun ignore your day. Listen to this
So the
playlist.
Popcast has different playlists on Spotify that I could go
Yes.
find.
Yeah, so you can look up users, and
Okay,
so you
you
just look
send
up
me
the
the link
podcast.
and I'll put it
I
up
will.
there.
That'd be perfect. Yeah, because we have all kind like the best movie music, the best TV music, all kinds of things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it.
Okay.
Spotify, what
And
else?
and then my final thing is because I was thinking, what's something that I'm obsessed with right now? Because I go through seasons where I'm just and right now I'm obsessed. This is going to sound weird. I'm obsessed with homemade whipped cream.
Homemade whipped cream.
Yeah. So I'm a baker, and so I I actually don't love sweets, believe it or not. Like I really rather have cheese fries than a cupcake.
Me too.
Oh my gosh, I love cheese fries. And so, but I like whipped cream, like with especially the season where it's berries, and
Mm-hmm.
I like them on waffles and I like it in coffee, And so I made homemade whipped cream just for the first time. And I mean, it's so simple. It's just a cup of heavy whipping cream and 3 tablespoons of sugar with your hand mixer.
That's it?
That's it. And y'all, it will change. You will never go back to Cool Whip or you'll never go back to Ready Whip because you're literally doing it 3 to 5 minutes.
And then it's so much better.
Yeah. And you just put it in the fridge. It'll last about a day. So you may have a whipped creamy day.
My kids would love it if I made that.
They would be so, and it just tastes heavenly. You can put a drop of vanilla
Vanilla,
extract in it if you like. But other than that, it's just the dreamiest. I mean, you're just gonna have a day you're gonna put your serotonin playlist on and you're gonna have heavy whipped cream and you're gonna love it.
Oh my gosh. All
Yeah,
I'm thinking about is your cake pops right now too.
you can dip a cake pop in some homemade
Whipped
whipped
cream,
cream.
yeah.
So good. Right. You put some whipped cream between 2 cookies. You can mix, here's my best tip. Take some peanut butter, mix with some whipped cream, mix a beautiful peanut butter fluff to dip your strawberries in. It'll change your summer.
Okay. All right, I'm going to
So
tell you the
what are
3
you
things I'm
loving?
loving.
Yeah.
One of mine is makeup, which is weird because I'm not a makeup person either, but my little happy hour live thing that I did, my friend Tiffany Swedlin, she's a makeup artist, and she volunteered to do my makeup. And anytime someone says, hey, can I do your makeup? I'm in. Like,
Yes.
there's nothing that makes me feel better than sitting in a chair and have someone like touching me and making me look better. Like, I love that so much.
Lovely.
But she used this mascara, and I just kept talking about it so much that she left it with me because I think she felt weird. Like, you keep talking about it, and so she left it for me. But it is L'Oreal. I don't know how to say this. Voluminous.
Voluminous.
Thank you. Carbon black. There it is.
Ooh, it's pretty.
It literally makes your lashes like they keep going. And I had false eyelashes last year. Have you ever had them professional, like not the ones you put on with the glue yourself, but the ones where they do individual?
No, I want to do that.
Okay, that would be one of my top favorite things in life. I did that last year. Literally, it was one of the best things I've ever done for myself, ever, because I didn't wear mascara or eyeliner for like 2 months. But you wake up and you just
Really?
look awake and you look alive.
And how long did they last?
You have to get them refilled every like 3 to 4 weeks.
That's
So
magic.
financially, I just couldn't I couldn't justify it. It was just like this. I have 4 kids. Like I cannot be doing this. But if I had a lot of money, I would be doing that. But anyhow, this mascara makes me feel that way.
That's so great. I always get mad at babies. Can I be honest with you? I always get mad at babies because I feel like eyelashes are wasted on them.
Because why do they need them?
Why do they even need them? They don't
know.
even need it. I get mad.
I love lashes. They're so beautiful. And speaking of, when I was watching The Bachelor tell all the women this morning, they all wear lashes.
They look, and they're wearing lashes to bed because they're like, maybe he'll wake me up in the middle of the night. I gotta have my lashes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he did this season. Went in there in the morning, which I'm
And
like, that's not okay.
No,
this is
please
not
don't.
okay.
Don't
do
wake me
it.
up. A, don't wake me up. And B, don't let me know this is gonna happen.
Right,
No,
right.
not okay.
Okay, the second thing I'm loving is my friend Jade Poe here in town. I love her. Oh, her husband does the music for the show, Happy Hour. So there's that.
Oh, yay. Okay, good.
But she just started this new business called Leota Jean, and they make these cute little hair barrettes.
That's cute.
It's so cute, and it's not for me. Obviously, I'm not into wearing these anymore. But Story, you love Story.
Oh
And
my gosh, I'm Team Story all the way.
all the way. And so Story got a barrette from Jade, and I'm a huge fan of it, and I love it. And I'm a huge fan of women stepping out and doing something and creating something, and so I'm a fan of Jade's for that.
And that doesn't look like that bow that's going to take flight off of your kid's
No,
head.
it's small.
It's small, but really creative. I like that it's really
Very
creative.
creative, very cute. And my third thing is, and this is very self-promotion-y, but I just got koozies made with my
Oh my,
logo on them. I'm
I
sending you
want to.
one in the mail.
Oh my gosh, I want it. I was hoping that's why. I hope you weren't like sending something weird to my house.
Nope,
So
I
I'm
asked for your address because I'm sending you a koozie.
yay!
Do you like koozies?
I do love because I don't like sweat on me. I
Look,
don't like sweat on my
let me
glass.
just show you what else is on my desk. Another drink in a koozie.
Look at all your
It's
koozies.
a kombucha. Is that how you say that stuff?
Kombucha.
Whatever. Another koozie. I love koozies. Like I really do. This is over a water glass. Like I'll put it over anything because I love it.
Because you deserve to be wrapped in something lovely, like a lovely sweater or coat. So does your glass.
So does
Your
your
glass
glass.
like that.
You're a marketing person right there. I heard that come out. That was good. That was good. So I'm loving my very own koozie, which is very self-promotion-y, but I think I'm going to sell them too.
Well, it is kind of adorable. Who doesn't want to take the happy hour with
Wherever
them
you go.
everywhere? I do.
I do too.
And you can put other things in the koozie that are not just kombucha
I mean,
and water.
that's right. If you're at the beach or like in your backyard
Or at
or
Publix.
watching TV or Publix,
Whatever.
wherever you are.
Anything you need to hide, you can put in that koozie.
That's exactly right. Those are my three things. Okay, Jamie, what are you reading?
Okay.
You're first of all, I heard you on Anne's new podcast, which
Yes.
let's give her lots of promotion twice today. What should I read next? I heard you on her show, and I did not realize that you're a speed reader.
Well, I took a speed reading class in college because I was like, I'm not going to get all this done because I went to public school in Alabama. We're not used to this kind of level.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Emory University in Atlanta.
Okay.
And so they were like legit. And so I took a speed reading course and it actually helped a lot. Now, I do tell people you can tell I love a book if I go back and read it again and don't speed read it because when you speed read, you don't read a lot of context. You just push through dialogue.
I'm sure I could take a class on this. I don't understand how your brain knows what to skip over and what to actually read.
It's really just quotation marks are your guide. They're your tent poles. Like
So
they're
you
your
read
guides
what's
in
in
the water.
quotation, or you skip that.
When there are long stretches of dialogue. Now, if it's really just descriptive, like it's 3 paragraphs, I'm going to read the 3 paragraphs of descriptive.
Okay.
But I am going to. What happens is you just start to skim bigger words, and you almost ignore articles and prepositions and all that. Your brain just skips them.
Do you do this
So
with nonfiction as well?
I do.
Okay.
So sometimes I don't get all the points that Andy Stanley's trying to make
Right.
in the book. I'm sorry, or Jenny Allen. Like I'm like, am I
Whoever.
restless? I'd skip chapter 3. I don't know. So, but I am reading right now, which I don't often read young adult fiction. And this is really like a Narnia-esque, but I'm reading this amazing series called The Last Beholder. And there are 2 books in the series right now. It's about this 13-year-old girl named Wallace and her stepbrother Gus, who have these kind of unknown, I'm keeping this very spoiler-free, unknown magical powers and kind of this adventure they go on together. And it's very Narnia, if you like that kind of thing. But it's not just for kids. I have just sucked these books up. They're so well written. They're by Megan Beam and Aaron Hicks. And they're just fantastic books. The Last Beholder. They're really,
Like
really
my
good.
12-year-old, it would be like on his
It would
level.
be a dream. It would be a dream. Yes.
Okay.
No, he would
I
love
love
it.
that. And isn't it C.S. Lewis that says a book that is just for a kid's book that also affects adults is like an amazing book? Someone says that.
I'm sure that is verbatim what he said.
Because Narnia, hello. Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, so it's so good. So I recommend it to you. I've already bought it for several friends because I would be halfway through a chapter and I would just stop and go on Amazon and be like, they're gonna love this so much. It's so good.
Are you like that? Like when you find a book that you love, you just said you're sending it to friends. Do you do that?
I do.
You go on Amazon, send it to them.
I'll do the ebook because listen, I'm on a budget.
That's right.
I'm in the wilderness, y'all. But I'll do the ebook, or if I like, just especially if I ever see a book that I love that's on sale, like it's like $1.99.
Yeah.
I'll then immediately send it. I mean, I joked about Restless by Jenny Allen, but it is one of my favorite books about finding your purpose. It's a great book if you're thinking about purpose and
Yeah.
how it all comes together. And so I sent it to like 10 people and they were so sad. They're like, are you trying to get me to quit my job? I'm like, I'm trying to get everybody to quit their job. Like once you quit your job, you want everybody to quit their job.
I want to be that friend. I have done that one time, like a book that I loved.
Mhm.
Bitter. Did you ever read Bittersweet by Shauna Nequist?
Yes, so
I
good.
love anything she writes.
She writes beautifully.
She's beautiful. I sent that to a friend one time, and but I want to be a better friend. I want to find a book I love and send it to people. That's a fun thing to do.
It is, especially if you can think about somebody who. Now, I have done it to friends where they write back and they're like, "I don't read."
Thank you, but no, thank you.
Right. And I'm like, well, God told me to just pull out God. Like if you say God told you to do it,
Then
sometimes they'll read it.
Yeah, it trumps it
Yeah, he
all.
trumps all
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm reading Glory Over Everything. And every time I say
Oh,
it out loud, I think, is this the right book that I'm reading? Did
is
you
it
ever read The Kitchen House?
I haven't, but recently that was recommended to us on the podcast. We did an interview with Jessica Turner, who's
She's
an
the one that
author.
told me about this book.
Okay,
So that's all
perfect.
coming together.
She loved, I mean, she gushed about it.
So
Do you
I
like it?
saw that she had this copy of this new book, and I knew that I loved the first one. And she said she got an advance copy somehow. And so I, of course, was like, well, tell me how you got it. And so she gave me the author's email address, weird enough. And I just emailed and said, hey, I loved your first book. I'd love to read your second one. Next thing I know, it was in my mailbox.
Holy moly! Why am I not emailing Stephen King and being
Just
like, dude,
email authors.
I
Right.
like you.
Give me
What
your
can
new
you send me?
stuff. But I'm loving this book because I love her stories and stuff. So Glory Over Everything.
Really good fiction, romance, history,
Fiction. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
relational.
Glory Over Everything Beyond the Kitchen House, which was her first book, Kathleen Grissom. And it is like, it kind of continues the story of one of these people that was in the first book. And
So
it
it'll be
takes,
helpful to read them in order.
right now, I don't feel like you would have had to have read it. So,
Oh, okay.
but whatever. But it takes them through the Underground Railroad, takes place in like 18 something,
Oh,
1830.
oh wow. Oh, I love historical novels. I
Yeah.
really do.
So
Good.
good. Wonderful, wonderful. And she's a good. Are you a person that's like, the best book I ever read is this?
Well, I feel like books are so appley and orangey at times. I like authors a lot, but when somebody asked me once, "What are the three best books?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, you're gonna judge me. I don't know. But I will say, probably the best book I've read in the last 10 years, truly, is 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
Wait, isn't that the show I'm now watching on
And that's the
TV?
show. Now, I will say the show might disappoint. It's a 900-page book, so don't be misled. It's a big book, but they're doing the best job they can, and I actually like the show.
I'm
But the
behind a little
book,
bit.
I mean, we even some friends texted about the dance scene that was in the show, and we were so happy because it was so well done, and in the book it's so pivotal.
Uh-huh.
But Stephen King gets a bad rap. Sometimes people forget that he's probably one of the best modern writers of our time. He tells stories in a way that's just riveting, and a lot of times people think it's all horror, but like The Dark Tower it's a wonderful series. It's coming. Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba, my beloved,
Oh,
is going to be
hello.
in it. So that's probably the best. So if people said, "What's the best book you've read?" That would be what I would say. That and Persuasion by Jane Austen.
I've never read a Stephen King book, and I don't think I've ever read a Jane Austen book either. Isn't that awful?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh,
Don't
you're
let anyone
sweet.
tell you it's awful. But they are great writers.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but they also make good movies. So I always say, if you're not going to read it, it's fine.
There
Watch
you
the
go.
movies.
There you go.
You'll like The Shining. It's really good.
Oh, yeah, love The Shining. Jamie, thanks for joining me on the happy hour.
This has been the best hour I've spent in at least a week. I got a massage the week before, so
Yeah, I was going to say,
you can't compete with that. That was pretty good.
And next time, I mean, just wait till you go to your mailbox and you open up that koozie.
That koozie's gonna be with me in the grocery store
I love it.
with my earbuds in
I
and that
love
look
it.
of like, don't talk to me while I'm shopping.
I am busy.
I am busy with my koozie
There
and
you
my
go.
podcast in my ear.
Love it.
I love
Oh my
it. Thank you so
gosh.
much for having me.
Loved it. And I'm going to put all the links we talked about. And if we can fit it in, I can't guarantee what next week look like because it's spring break over here. But I'd love to chat for 5 minutes about The Bachelor.
I would love to do.
Well, just tell me
a
who you're rooting for.
postmortem. Lauren B.
Okay.
And listen, just quickly, my feelings are, I mean, the rumor is, and it'll be announced after the final rose, is that Kayla is the next Bachelor.
Kayla, the third one.
The third one.
She's
and I'm
so
very,
nice.
she's too nice. She's
That's
too
why I
young.
worry about her. She's so
too
nice.
I would like Lauren B or JoJo, whoever he doesn't pick. Of course, it sounds like they're going to be in a Utah, like multiple wives,
I think
sister wives
you should
wedding,
go with
which is
both
up
of
your
them.
alley, by
It's
the way. You'll
right
love
up
it.
my alley. Yeah.
You would love it if that happened.
Well, he said on the thing, he said he's very happy and he'd marry her tomorrow, whoever it is, or both of them.
Well, good luck to the one that doesn't. I'm so excited. I can't even describe to you how excited I am to see the woman he doesn't pick.
Do you read spoilers? Like, I have some friends that already know. I don't either. I don't want to know.
I don't. I like the moment because we do a big party.
You do?
We do rose cake pops. We do food. We do wine.
I need to see this. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a good time and we talk a lot of trash. It's a good time.
It's 3 hours long on Monday.
I have a friend, no kidding, Fred, third grade teacher. She is taking off work the next day.
Stop it.
Because we were like, we're going to party hard watching this show.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I can't be up at 4 a.m. with my baby and my children.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so hopefully we can recap on Tuesday for 5 minutes what we loved.
That'd be fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jamie.
Guys, wasn't that a great chat with Jamie? She seriously cracks me up. I have so much fun with her, and it's just fun to know that I'm in the same industry, this podcast world, with such great people. I loved hearing about her huge leap of faith in quitting her job. I am a gigantic fan of people following the promptings from God, even when they seem downright crazy, like hers did. I loved hearing that story from her. I know I talked about that we might come back and chat about The Bachelor, and I haven't actually watched The Bachelor finale yet. It was just on last night when I'm recording this. I just haven't had time. It's spring break, so I'm hanging out with my kids a lot, sleeping in, trying to work on my book proposal. Oh my gosh, I'm writing a book proposal. That's a whole nother story. And so I'm probably going to watch it this weekend. But I did see that Ben picked Lauren, and I'm super happy for them. Guys, remember, everything we chatted about is going to be up on my website, jamieivey.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Find me on Twitter. I'm at Jamie_Ivey. Instagram and Facebook, you can just look up Jamie Ivey, and share with me something you love from this episode. Also, Jamie B. Golden, the guest on the show today, we talked about her cake pops, and she's giving away a dozen cake pops to one of you guys. So watch my Instagram tomorrow, because I'm going to put it up tomorrow, and see how you can win some cake pops. How fun would that be to send as a gift or to send as yourself? Today's show is edited by Knox McCoy, and the music is from Jason Poe. You guys are so amazing at emailing me and putting info on Instagram about who you want on the show that I create a place for you to nominate people. It could be your best friend, it could be a lady in your city that you love, a stranger, or guys, you can even nominate yourself. No shame in that. Go to jamieivey.com/guest ideas, and that's where I would love to hear who you'd like to hear on the show. Next week's guest is my friend Kat Armstrong, who I know you're going to love. We met about a year ago, and every single time, I'm not lying, every single time our paths cross, I think to myself, I want to know that girl more. And so I know that you're going to love our conversation. Kat has started 2 companies, Baby Bowtie and Polish Ministries. And I wanted to tell you this so you could know how much you're going to want to hear from her. She says, I often wear the same thing Monday through Friday, even if I have to see the same people. Most of the time, I pull dirty, visibly dirty clothes off the floor to find something that doesn't stink too badly to wear. She says this, I almost never cook, but when I do, I make it count with good wine and new recipes we picked up from our cooking classes at Central Market. I only clean when someone's coming over, and I don't own anything to dust the house. I like it that way. I love her. See, you're going to love her. We're all going to love her. And guys, I want to tell you about some other upcoming people that I have on the show. Larissa Murphy is coming on, Deidre Riggs, Elise Fitzpatrick, Shay Shull, and Shelly Giglio are all going to be making appearances in the next couple of weeks. Plus, any others that I haven't mentioned that might be surprises coming in. Love the show, guys. Thanks for listening. You guys are amazing. Enjoy your week. Share the show with a girlfriend and have a happy hour with a friend.